Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a situation we've all seen, maybe even lived a woman pouring her heart, her soul, her everything into loving a man who, for reasons unclear, pulls away, ignores, maybe even resents her. Now, why does this happen? Is it fair? Is it right? Let's break it down. First, we must understand overbearing love versus healthy love. Loving someone too much can feel suffocating to the one receiving it. You think you're giving all of yourself, but sometimes too much love can feel like pressure to be perfect, pressure to respond in ways they're not ready for. Remember, love isn't about overwhelming, it's about uplifting. Now, let's move to emotional capacity. Everyone has their limits, their thresholds. You might think, I'm showing him how much I care, but he may not have the tools to process that love. Some people haven't learned to handle intense emotions. They retreat not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to care back. And then there's miscommunication and misalignment. Love languages, my friends, are real. She might express love through affection, attention, and constant giving, but he might value independence, subtlety, and space. If neither understands the other's language, love becomes noise instead of music. Which brings us to the crucial point, the need for personal space. In love, space isn't distance, it's breathing room. It's what allows a person to grow, to reflect, to be their best self. Too much closeness without room to breathe can feel like confinement. And nobody thrives in a cage, no matter how golden it is. Lastly, and most importantly, let's talk about self-worth and mutual respect. Loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself. When you give so much that you forget your value, your own light starts to dim. A healthy relationship is a partnership, not a sacrifice. And mutual respect? That's the currency of love. Without it, no amount of devotion will fill the void. So why does he ignore her when she loves too much? It's not always about the depth of her love, it's about the dynamics of their connection. Love, my friends, isn't just about giving, it's about understanding. It's about balance. If you find yourself in this situation, ask yourself this: are you loving in a way that uplifts both of you, or are you pouring from an empty cup? Are you respecting their space, their individuality, as much as you want them to respect yours? Love isn't a race. It's not a competition to see who can give more. It's a dance, a graceful, mutual, and respectful dance. And when the rhythm is right, neither will feel ignored. Both will feel seen, heard, and deeply loved. Now, I want to talk about this in detail. Love is one of the most powerful forces on this planet. It's the thing that motivates, inspires, and connects people in profound ways. But not all love is created equal. There's a fine line between loving someone deeply and loving someone too much. This difference can be the reason relationships thrive or falter. In this keynote, we'll explore the contrast between overbearing love and healthy love, and why one can drive someone away, even if it's rooted in genuine care. Let's begin by defining what we mean by overbearing love. Overbearing love is when one person gives so much with such intensity that it becomes too much for the other person to handle. It's characterized by constant attention, excessive devotion, and a lack of space. While the intention behind this love may be pure, the effect can be stifling. Why does this happen? In many cases, the person who loves too much may be seeking validation or reassurance from their partner. They might fear rejection or abandonment, leading them to give more than what's healthy. They might feel that the more they give, the more love they will receive. This often comes from a place of insecurity or an unmet emotional need. The desire to feel loved and wanted can make them overcompensate, thinking that their partner can't possibly know how much they care unless they show it all the time. But what does overbearing love do to the recipient? It overwhelms them. When someone is constantly bombarded with affection, attention, and gestures of love, they may begin to feel trapped. It's like trying to breathe with a heavy weight pressing down on your chest. Instead of feeling cherished, they start to feel burdened. There's a natural human desire for autonomy, and when that autonomy is compromised, it creates friction. Now, let's contrast this with healthy love. Healthy love is rooted in balance. It's not about giving up yourself for the sake of the other person. It's about creating a space where both people can grow individually while still nurturing the connection. Healthy love involves mutual respect for each other's needs and boundaries. It recognizes that while love is important, so is maintaining personal identity and independence. In a healthy relationship, love is freely given without expectation. The person receiving love doesn't feel the need to give back constantly to prove they care, nor do they feel pressured to reciprocate in ways that feel unnatural or exhausting. Healthy love allows both individuals to continue pursuing their own interests, goals, and passions while still finding time to be there for one another. It's about quality, not quantity. It's about showing up when it matters rather than showing up all the time. Furthermore, healthy love doesn't rely on grand gestures or constant attention. It's in the small, consistent acts of kindness, support, and understanding. It's in the way you listen, the way you respect boundaries, and the way you communicate. It's in the moments of silence when you can be together without the need for constant reassurance or validation. Why is this important? Because when love becomes overbearing, it can drive a wedge between two people. The partner who feels overwhelmed may begin to emotionally withdraw or seek distance. They might start to question the relationship, not because they don't care, but because they feel their autonomy is being compromised. This is where the concept of space comes into play. Healthy love allows for breathing room, space to miss each other, space to grow, and space to reconnect when needed. Overbearing love, no matter how well-intentioned, can create more harm than good. It takes away the freedom and balance necessary for both partners to feel seen, heard, and respected. Healthy love, on the other hand, nurtures growth, communication, and mutual respect. It's about understanding that love is not a burden to bear, but a gift to be shared in a way that uplifts and strengthens the relationship. In every relationship, emotional capacity plays a significant role in how individuals interact, connect, and sustain their bond. Emotional capacity refers to a person's ability to handle, process, and respond to emotional experiences, whether their own or those of others. It's not just about how much someone can feel, but also how well they can manage those feelings and how they express them. Emotional capacity varies from person to person and can greatly impact the dynamics of a relationship. This keynote will explore the role of emotional capacity in love, why it's important, and how it can affect relationships in both positive and negative ways. Let's start by acknowledging that people have different emotional capacities. Some people are naturally more in tune with their emotions, capable of expressing them clearly and managing them effectively. Others may have a more limited emotional range, struggle with expressing their feelings, or feel overwhelmed by intense emotions. These differences are often rooted in a variety of factors, including personality traits, past experiences, and upbringing. For example, a person who grew up in a household where emotions were either suppressed or ignored might find it more difficult to express vulnerability or show affection. Conversely, someone who was raised in an emotionally open environment might be more comfortable navigating and communicating their emotions. In a romantic relationship, these differences in emotional capacity can lead to misunderstandings. When one partner is emotionally expressive, constantly giving love, attention, and affection, the other partner might feel overwhelmed or incapable of reciprocating in the same way. It's not that the partner doesn't care or doesn't love the other person, it's that their emotional capacity is being stretched beyond its limit. Just as some people have physical limits, emotional limits exist too. If someone is emotionally exhausted or doesn't have the tools to process their emotions, they may begin to withdraw, not because of a lack of love, but because they simply can't handle the emotional weight being placed on them. This concept becomes even more significant when we consider emotional intensity. Some people have a naturally high emotional intensity. They feel things deeply, they react strongly to emotional stimuli, and they seek constant emotional closeness. Others, however, may not feel the same level of intensity and may find this emotional exuberance difficult to navigate. The partner who is less emotionally intense might begin to retreat or distance themselves, not out of indifference, but because they are struggling to match the emotional pace. Here lies the importance of emotional self-awareness and communication. When individuals understand their own emotional capacity and that of their partner, they can better navigate the ups and downs of the relationship. If one person is feeling overwhelmed, it's essential to communicate that need for space or a slower pace. When both partners are aware of each other's emotional needs, they can create a relationship dynamic that respects each person's capacity. This leads to healthier communication patterns and fewer instances of emotional burnout. Another factor influencing emotional capacity is emotional maturity. Maturity doesn't necessarily mean age, but rather the ability to understand, regulate, and respond to emotions in a constructive way. Emotional maturity allows individuals to recognize when they need support or when they need space. A mature person is capable of managing their emotional state rather than allowing their emotions to dictate their actions. In relationships, emotional maturity fosters deeper understanding, patience, and compromise. It's what enables both partners to navigate difficult conversations, disagreements, or moments of vulnerability with empathy and respect. However, emotional capacity can also grow and evolve over time. People can expand their emotional range by developing self-awareness, seeking emotional support, and learning healthier coping mechanisms. When both partners are invested in growing emotionally and expanding their capacity, the relationship can deepen, becoming more resilient to challenges and conflicts. Emotional capacity plays a critical role in the health and longevity of a relationship. Recognizing that each person has different emotional limits allows for a more compassionate approach to dealing with emotional differences. It's important to remember that emotional capacity isn't static, it can change, grow, and evolve. By fostering open communication, emotional maturity, and mutual understanding, couples can navigate emotional complexities together, creating a relationship that supports both individuals' emotional needs while strengthening the bond between them. One of the most common challenges in any relationship, romantic or otherwise, is miscommunication. It's often the root of conflict, misunderstanding, and emotional distance. In fact, many problems that arise in relationships aren't necessarily caused by a lack of love or care, but by the simple fact that two people aren't on the same page when it comes to communication and expectations. Misalignment, whether it's in needs, desires, or goals, can lead to a disconnect, causing one person to feel ignored or misunderstood, while the other might feel helpless or frustrated. Understanding how miscommunication and misalignment happen and how to address them is critical to maintaining healthy relationships. To start, let's consider what miscommunication truly means. It isn't just about not speaking clearly, it goes much deeper. Miscommunication can stem from differences in communication styles. Some people prefer direct, clear communication, while others may express themselves more subtly through hints, body language, or indirect language. In some cases, this can lead to confusion where one partner might feel they are being ignored or dismissed because the other partner is not communicating in a way that resonates with them. For example, if one partner is expecting an emotional response but only receives a practical or neutral one, they might interpret that as lack of interest, even though the response may have been intended with care or concern. Another aspect of miscommunication is the assumption. Many times people assume that their partner knows exactly what they need or how they feel without having to explicitly state it. This assumption can be dangerous because it creates expectations that the other person may not even be aware of. A partner might assume that their gestures of love are being interpreted the same way they intend, only to find that the other person has a completely different interpretation. For example, one person may think that showing love through acts of service, like doing the dishes or taking care of tasks, is enough, while the other partner may need verbal affirmation or quality time to feel loved. Without clearly communicating those needs, both individuals might feel hurt or neglected. Misalignment occurs when two people's needs, desires, or values don't line up in a way that supports the growth of the relationship. It's not necessarily about major differences sometimes, it's the little things that matter the most. Maybe one partner needs constant closeness and emotional reassurance, while the other values their independence and personal space. Or one partner may prioritize career success, while the other places a higher value on family time. These subtle misalignments can cause tension, especially if both parties are unaware that their needs and priorities are not aligned. What one person interprets as a sign of love or commitment, the other may see as smothering or neglectful behavior. This misalignment becomes more problematic when it's not addressed. People tend to avoid uncomfortable conversations about what isn't working, often out of fear of conflict or the belief that things will get better on their own. But the longer misalignment goes unaddressed, the more resentment builds. What starts as small misunderstandings can snowball into larger, more significant issues if both parties don't take the time to communicate their needs and listen to each other's perspectives. The key to overcoming miscommunication and misalignment is, first and foremost, active listening. It's about truly hearing what your partner is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Active listening requires empathy and attention. It means understanding not just the words being spoken, but the emotions and intentions behind them. By practicing active listening, you can avoid jumping to conclusions, making assumptions, or reacting impulsively. Another essential step is setting clear expectations. Both partners should be able to articulate what they need from the relationship, whether it's emotional support, respect for personal space, or quality time together, and be open to negotiating those needs. It's about understanding that everyone has different emotional styles and that it's okay to have differences. What matters is how you work together to bridge those differences. Lastly, compromise is necessary to align both partners' needs. While you might not always get everything you want in a relationship, finding common ground is essential. This doesn't mean sacrificing your values or emotional well-being, but it does mean being open to meeting your partner halfway. Compromise involves understanding that, while your needs are valid, your partner's needs are just as important. Miscommunication and misalignment are not problems that can be ignored. They require active effort and understanding. When relationships are marked by confusion, misunderstandings, or unmet needs, the only way forward is through open, honest, and compassionate dialogue. By embracing active listening, setting clear expectations, and finding compromise, couples can create a relationship dynamic that fosters understanding, growth, and mutual support. Personal space in a relationship is one of the most important yet often overlooked aspects of maintaining emotional health and harmony between partners. While love and closeness are vital components of any romantic relationship, respecting and nurturing each individual's need for personal space is equally essential. Personal space doesn't just refer to physical distance, it encompasses emotional, mental, and psychological space that allows individuals to grow, reflect, and maintain their sense of self. Without personal space, a relationship can quickly become suffocating, leading to resentment, frustration, and ultimately a sense of disconnect. Why is personal space so important? The need for personal space stems from the basic human desire for autonomy. Autonomy is a natural part of being human. It's the ability to make decisions independently, explore personal interests, and have control over one's life and emotions. In a relationship, while connection and togetherness are essential, both partners need space to express themselves as individuals. If either person feels their personal autonomy is being compromised, it can lead to feelings of being trapped or controlled. When partners spend too much time together without adequate space, they can begin to lose sight of who they are outside of the relationship. Each person has personal passions, hobbies, and goals that should be nurtured. Personal space allows individuals to recharge, pursue their interests, and reconnect with their sense of self. Without this, it's easy to lose one's identity in the relationship, which can result in a lack of fulfillment, dissatisfaction, and even resentment. In addition, personal space allows both individuals to process their emotions, thoughts, and experiences independently. Emotional processing is vital for maintaining mental and emotional health. In a healthy relationship, each partner should have the freedom to reflect, think critically, and grow on their own. This doesn't mean that emotional distance should replace connection, but rather that each person should have the time and mental space to work through their emotions individually without the pressure to constantly share or resolve them immediately. The balance between togetherness and space. When personal space is respected, it actually strengthens the bond between partners. This is because individuals are more likely to feel recharged and emotionally available when they have time to themselves. It allows for a sense of independence within the partnership, which in turn creates more appreciation for the time spent together. Imagine, for instance, that after a long week of work, both partners go out and engage in separate activities. One partner might have a creative outlet, such as painting or reading, while the other spends time with friends or enjoys a solo hobby. When they come back together, they bring fresh perspectives, new experiences, and renewed energy into the relationship. However, when space is not respected, it can lead to emotional burnout. If one partner is constantly demanding attention or interaction, the other partner may feel drained or overwhelmed, even if the relationship is deeply fulfilling in other ways. Emotional exhaustion is one of the main reasons why people retreat or emotionally withdraw from their partners. When one person is constantly under pressure to be available, supportive, or emotionally attuned to the other, they may begin to disengage, not because they no longer care, but because they need time to restore their own emotional well-being. Recognizing the signs. It's crucial to recognize when personal space is needed, both for yourself and your partner. If one partner is expressing feelings of overwhelm or detachment, it could be an indication that personal space is not being honored. Common signs that space might be needed include irritability, feeling trapped, or withdrawing emotionally. On the other hand, it's important to note that space doesn't always mean isolation. It's about balancing time together with time apart, where both individuals feel free to engage in activities or moments that allow them to recharge. Setting boundaries. To maintain a healthy balance of personal space in a relationship, clear boundaries must be established. These boundaries should be open for discussion and not rigid or punitive. For example, one partner may need an hour of solitude after a long day at work to decompress, while the other may prefer to talk about their day immediately. Having a conversation about these preferences allows each partner to express their needs without feeling rejected or ignored. Boundaries should be respected, and both partners should be willing to honor each other's space without feeling insecure or rejected. In some cases, the need for personal space may be more prominent in certain phases of the relationship. For instance, during moments of stress or major life changes, such as moving to a new place or adjusting to a new routine, one person may need more space than usual. Recognizing these shifts and being adaptable to the changes in how space is needed is part of growing together while still maintaining individual well-being. Personal space is not about distance or detachment, it's about allowing each partner the freedom to be themselves within the relationship. It's about fostering a relationship dynamic where both individuals feel seen, heard, and respected, not just as a couple, but as individuals. By respecting personal space, couples can create a foundation where love thrives, with both partners feeling emotionally fulfilled and energized. Ultimately, personal space enables both individuals to bring their best selves to the relationship, fostering connection, growth, and long-lasting happiness. Self-worth and mutual respect are the foundational pillars that support a healthy and thriving relationship. Without these elements, relationships can easily become toxic, unbalanced, and emotionally draining. It's essential to understand that self-worth isn't just about how one sees themselves, it's about recognizing and maintaining one's value in the context of a relationship while also respecting and valuing the other person's dignity, boundaries, and individuality. When both partners foster self-worth and mutual respect, they create a dynamic where both can flourish as individuals and as a couple. The importance of self-worth in relationships. Self-worth refers to the intrinsic value a person places on themselves. It's not dependent on external validation or approval, but rather on an internal understanding of one's own value, qualities, and strengths. In a healthy relationship, both partners should have a solid sense of self-worth, which enables them to approach their relationship from a place of emotional stability and confidence. When someone lacks self-worth, they often look to others for constant validation and approval. This dependency can place a heavy burden on the partner, as they may feel responsible for meeting the emotional needs of the other person at all times. When self-worth is tied to external factors, like the love or attention from a partner, it becomes fragile and easily shaken. If the relationship faces challenges or misunderstandings, a person with low self-worth might take it personally, believing that their value is diminished if their partner is upset, distant, or unavailable. On the other hand, when both individuals in a relationship have a strong sense of self-worth, they are better equipped to handle challenges with resilience. They are not as easily shaken by minor setbacks, and they are able to offer support to their partner from a place of emotional abundance. Self-worth enables each person to maintain their independence and not lose themselves in the relationship. It allows both partners to feel secure in their individual identities while also enjoying the connection they share as a couple. The role of mutual respect. Mutual respect is the cornerstone of any successful relationship. It means recognizing and honoring each other's boundaries, needs, desires, and feelings. Respect is about valuing your partner as an equal, appreciating their unique qualities, and never taking them for granted. Without mutual respect, relationships can quickly devolve into power struggles, manipulation, or unhealthy dependency. Respect isn't just about being polite or courteous. It's about listening to your partner, considering their opinions, and valuing their emotions, even if they differ from your own. In a respectful relationship, both individuals feel safe to express themselves openly without fear of judgment or belittlement. They feel valued not just for what they do for each other, but for who they are as individuals. One key aspect of mutual respect is honoring boundaries. In any relationship, each partner has their own personal boundaries, emotional, physical, and psychological, that need to be acknowledged and respected. Boundaries are essential for maintaining a healthy dynamic, as they prevent feelings of overwhelm, resentment, or violation. For example, if one partner needs time alone to recharge, the other should respect that need without taking it personally. Similarly, respecting emotional boundaries means understanding when it's appropriate to give space and when it's time to engage in deeper conversations. By honoring these boundaries, both partners can feel safe and supported, which in turn fosters trust and intimacy. Another aspect of mutual respect is equality. In a respectful relationship, there is no room for domination or subordination. Both partners should have an equal voice in decisions, be it in day-to-day matters or more significant life choices. There should be room for compromise and understanding, with both individuals contributing to the relationship in meaningful ways. Equality in a relationship fosters a sense of fairness and balance, where both partners feel heard, valued, and empowered. The interconnection between self-worth and mutual respect. Self-worth and mutual respect are not separate concepts, they are deeply intertwined. When one person respects themselves and understands their own worth, they are more likely to respect their partner in the same way. A healthy relationship is built on a foundation of two people who not only love and care for each other, but who also recognize and honor the individual worth of one another. The respect you show for your partner's feelings, desires, and individuality reflects the respect you have for yourself. By practicing self-respect, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated, and you also create an environment where both partners are encouraged to thrive as individuals. Mutual respect also enables individuals to communicate more openly and honestly. It encourages vulnerability, where both partners can express their needs, concerns, and desires without fear of being dismissed or criticized. Respectful communication allows for deeper understanding and strengthens the emotional connection between partners, fostering a sense of security and trust. Self-worth and mutual respect are the cornerstones of a healthy and enduring relationship. Without self-worth, individuals may rely too heavily on external validation, leading to insecurity and emotional dependency. Without mutual respect, relationships can become unbalanced, with one partner's needs and boundaries being neglected. When both partners understand and nurture their own self-worth while also respecting each other's individuality, they create a partnership built on trust, understanding, and shared growth. This foundation not only strengthens the relationship but also empowers both individuals to be their best selves, leading to a deeper, more fulfilling connection. In relationships, the complexity of human emotions, needs, and behaviors often creates challenges that require deep understanding and introspection. Each keynote we've explored, whether it's emotional capacity, miscommunication, the need for personal space, or the importance of self-worth and mutual respect, reveals a fundamental truth: healthy relationships are built on understanding, communication, and emotional maturity. These are not static principles, they require continuous effort, growth, and adaptability. Understanding emotional capacity helps us recognize and respect each person's unique emotional boundaries, allowing us to support each other without overwhelming one another. Miscommunication, when left unchecked, can erode trust and create distance, but when addressed through active listening and open dialogue, it can strengthen the connection and clarity between partners. The need for personal space, often misunderstood, actually allows individuals to maintain their individuality, recharge, and come back to the relationship with renewed strength and perspective. And finally, self-worth and mutual respect form the foundation for a relationship that values both partners equally, allowing them to grow, communicate openly, and love each other in the healthiest, most empowering way possible. Ultimately, relationships thrive when both individuals can hold space for each other's emotional needs, respect each other's autonomy, and communicate effectively. It's a balance of love, respect, and self-awareness that fosters an environment where both people can grow individually and together. By embracing these principles, emotional capacity, effective communication, personal space, and mutual respect, relationships become not just about love, but about the mutual cultivation of emotional health, well-being, and understanding. When this foundation is built, it not only enriches the bond between two people, but it ensures that the love shared is not only enduring but deeply fulfilling.